Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. We welcome you to the Toronto Rock Athletic Center, the home of the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League OJLL 2021 season. It will be a number of games, 22 in fact, this weekend. 11 today, 6 on this field. You're looking at 5 on the field behind me. Normally the only one that had turf, but now both pads here having turf. If you are looking for the other game, Six Nations Arrows, Burlington Chiefs, that should be on our main YouTube channel. The JVI Sports Network has 2 YouTube channels, Channel 1, Channel 2. So you can search OJLL on either Six Nations or Burlington. I understand there may be some streaming issues at the moment on that floor, but I assure you those will be updated shortly. We look like we're good to go here, and we are just awaiting Mimico and Toronto Beaches. This is the first game of the Crombie Cup this year. Competed between these two teams every time they meet throughout their regular season series, and I believe they'll go once more coming up. I think it's next weekend when these two will go again. If you can have a marathon and a sprint at the same time, that's exactly what we're going to see here today and this weekend and over the course of the next probably 3 weeks here at the Toronto Rock Athletic Center, as every team here will play 4 games this weekend, including the one that you're about to watch. Mimico Mountaineers occupying the visitors bench just across from us. They'll go right to left on your screen in their white jerseys with the double blue trim, and the navy blue with the yellow shoulder caps going left to right. On the home bench are the Toronto Beaches. Again, first game of the Crombie Cup here between these two squads, and a bit of a new look since the last time we saw either of these teams on their benches. And I know that's been a while, almost 2 full years. And boy, oh boy, does it feel good to be back on the microphone talking to you. I am Matthew Carrick, in for the JVI Sports Network and the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League. Again, as we await the start here of Mimico and Toronto coaching staff, DJ Cleveley remains on the bench. Sean O'Callaghan, their manager, but joining him now, Troy Cordingley, moving over from Oakville, who we'll see later on this afternoon. On the, I believe it's the opposite pad, they play Brampton in the next game coming up. Mimico controlling the first face-off and quickly pushing it to the near boards. Here's Peyton Cormier, one of, I believe, only 3 players still left from that Minto run a couple years ago. Goalie outplay here for Mimico. And it's a man coming off the bench. Quick, back to the near side, a shot, and it just hooked wide at the last second off the stick of Curtis Butka. They reset the shot clock, though. Must have said that Bukta's shot did get through. Cormier from long range, that one wide, and the shot clock does not reset this time. We'll play 15-minute stop time periods, 3 of those here, as Cormier rips another shot and a high save made by the Toronto Beaches netminder. Ball loose in the crease. Rule change for this year to mirror NLL rules. You can now reach into the crease to pull the ball out, cannot shovel it through, of course, as we saw a couple offensive players close to that Beaches net. Minute and a half gone here as Thought we may have had a moving screen call. The Beaches forward was knocked down. Brady Kiernan quickly puts it down, and a penalty, a late slash called on the Mimico bench by one of the officials. Matt Garrison, Joel Furman, and Mac Abbott on the floor as we run three-man crew here throughout the next 2 weekends. Limited fans in the building. By invitation only. I believe each player was given 2 tickets, as there's a big hit in behind, and that'll be a back-in call. Starting goalie for Mimico, I believe, is Owen Dew, number 29. Looked like a pretty obvious back-in call there, but Mimico arguing nonetheless. Power play set up for Toronto. It'll be up top, Stone Jacobs. He now cuts into the middle and off his stick, and Mimico about to go off to the races. Led by Finley Thompson, the shot. And a good save made there. I believe that's Jackson Brown in net. And Dew back the other way. He makes the save as it rolls out the back door. End-to-end action here. And again, we talked about the fact that these teams will both play 2 games today, 2 more tomorrow, for 4 on the weekend. After, for some of these players, almost 2 years off, we're about to see how much gas they've got in the tank. Under 10 on the shot clock now as Liam Lamoche slows things up. All the way back up top for Ryan Haig. His shot high over top of the cage. And an over and back call or shot clock violation. Take your pick. As a delay of game is called here, and I believe it's Mimico with 40 seconds left in the first penalty. That's Rory Graham headed off. Some familiar names. Some familiar last names, I should say, from that Minto contention team. The Beaches last few years have seemed to be knocking on the door of making those playoff runs, but so far have yet to put it together. Cutting in now, a couple fakes, and on the doorstep, a quick shot. Filled in hard, though, was Brady Kiernan, who was picked up by Taggart Clark. Excuse me, Sam Firth. Pickup from, I believe it was Orangeville. I keep wanting to say in the offseason, but again, it was a 2-year offseason. The first penalty has expired. It just does right now, and we'll go 5-on-4 for the next minute and 14 with 11 and a half left in our first period. Again, of a 15-minute time. As the Beaches, a bit of a change-up, low shot there, skipped off the turf. And then the back wall, Stone Jacobs chasing this all the way down. Picked up in front of the Beaches net by, by Matt Wright. And here's Gareth Haig. Ball movement here for Mimico, under 10 in their shot clock. As down low, a big pick set. Need the shot as it finally comes from up top. And believe that was, Liam Lamoche with that sidearm shot over top. Either way, wide of the mark. It's picked up in the corner now by the Beaches. Jackson Raposo gains the possession line and will now head off for the change. Dying seconds of this Toronto Beaches power play. Stone Jacobs. Near side, back to Jacobs up top. Far side now, no look at all. If that was released right on time, they had Dew beat. But Taggart Clark couldn't pull the trigger. Zach Young now. Up the near side, Tevin Pfeiffer. Ryan Haig. Over for Cormier. Sidestepping is Buxa. Cormier again cuts to the net. This shot, a shot. Looked like it may have hit off the arm of Brown, but official says no, and no argument from Mimico, so it is Toronto ball. As 8 seconds to get across half, another one of those NLL-style rule changes. As Ferris up on his man, trying to push him over the timeline. Crease violation called by Joel Furman. And we've played 5 minutes of a scoreless first period here in the opening match of the opening day of the OJLL season. Again, 5 matchups coming on this court. Here is a diving attempt. No one's sure where the ball is as it's finally picked up in behind the net by Curtis Romancic. Romancic, Toronto Rock draft pick. Another one from Orangeville being picked up by the Beaches. From outside, here's Jacobs. Fake to cut, now comes across. No look pass, wide of the mark of Jacob Hickey. He's still there to pick it up. 2 on the shot clock, and it doesn't get through. And unsportsmanlike, I believe. And it's been Matt Garrison that's called all the penalties, as he's hearing it from the combination of Troy Cordingley and DJ Cleveley on that Mimico bench, and now they'll get an explanation, which is not to their liking. 8:23 to go here in the first period, and the third Mimico penalty. Still nothing to show for it from the Beaches, however, as they work far side. A shot over top of a pile, bounces in front of the net. I don't think it touched Owen Dew. But Mac Abbott disagrees with me, and it'll be Jacobs restarting with a fresh 30. Kiernan, up top, hard shot, look out, that had visions of coming up where we are as Taggart Clark shot went sky high. Beauty of a tournament like this, a number of teams, as they try and limit fans, I was gonna say a number of teams in the building, but I believe there's scratches in behind the nets. As LaBoche cuts in, sidestepping some opening ceremonies on the far court in behind our broadcast position. Again, between Six Nations and Burlington, we'll be streaming all games as Brown is there to make a save. If you go to the JVI Sports Network main page, or it's linked off the OJLL site, you'll see a playlist with all 44 games, I believe it's going to be, by the time we're all said and done. Up top, a shot there and a save from Dew. That's Jacobs again with the rip and the rebound to set up a fresh 30. No, I was going to say no look, but it was Kiernan just hitching that shot at the last second to fire it cross floor and couldn't pull the trigger. Now Buckta. Far side for Haig. That's Ryan Haig down in the corner to his brother. Twin brother Ryan, that is. As that was sidearm shot back the other way. Haig again. We're 5-on-5 as a shot from long range. In on Brown. We've passed the halfway mark of the period, and a lot of power play time for the Toronto Beaches as they try no-look ball here. It is in the stick of Jacobs, however, who now passes it far side. Broken stick in the middle, so 5 on about 4.5 here for the Beaches as their man is taken down. Looked like he was close to the crease, but they'll give the interference call. Not allowed that defender to get off and make the change for Mimico, though, so we are 5-on-5 proper. Hard shot there, and Dew with a save in his feet. Near side, Zach Young. Played back here and to the outside. Pushed in the boards, trying to work the two-man game on the sideboards. Stick down here. It's an offensive one for Mimico as they try to set up it again very late in the shot clock with 5 seconds left. And from long range, a low one gets past the arm of Brown as Devin Pfeiffer will break the ice here. Mimico leads 1-0. The outside shot from Devin Pfeiffer sneaks past the arm of Jackson Brown. And Mimico takes the early 1-0 lead. Back to the face-off circle. David Anderson thought he had it cleanly, but surrenders it to Ryan Haig. And Mimico back to the attack. McCovey in the corner. Haig. McCovey diving. Can he stay out? Yes, he did. What a beauty to make it 2-0. Thomas McCovey down low on the crease, decides to take flight. And in behind Jackson Brown, 2-0 here for Mimico after going, about 8 minutes scoreless. Mimico now with 2 within a minute. Lead 2-1. Again, shortened periods here. First off, because it's been 2 years. And secondly, to keep things moving because it is quite a condensed schedule with the final game of the day happening at 9 p.m. 15-minute periods, so there's only about 4.5 left in this first. If we need overtime, it will be sudden death as well. Outside here for Jacob Power. Quickly far side, and Jacobs shot saved by Dew. A tie up here in behind. Officials are looking. As Finley Thompson picks up the ball. Over to the far side. Haig wanted to take it himself and nearly ducked under the double team as he had Peyton Cormier with him, but ball down and picked up by the Beaches. Owen Cook down. Quickly in transition to Matt Duncan. Wearing the captain's C again for the Beaches, I believe. Definitely second, if not third season for Matt Duncan. With a letter for the Beaches, he'll stay on the floor here. Everyone watching David Anderson though. Finally the shot from Jacobs. Seeing a ton offensively from Stone Jacobs so far in this game. And oh, what a pickup there from him. 2-on-1, he shoots in corner. Right on cue, Stone Jacobs. Just under 3 to go here in our first period. And some hard work on the loose ball. Got to give credit to David Anderson there. And I didn't get the number on who it was flipped to, but the 2-on-1 between Jacobs and Sam Firth cuts the Mimico lead in half now, 2-1 as the Beaches on the board. And I'm not sure what the procedure call there was on Mimico. It was called by the trail official. It almost looked like it got caught in the stick of Ryan Haig, but regardless, Toronto Beaches ball with 2:53 left in our opening frame. From the outside, here's Kiernan. Kiernan faked the shot. Now he will rip. Sidearm goes wide. And a bouncer down, race for it. As Thompson, it's Hudson Thompson. I believe him and Finley are younger brothers of Tanner, the former mayor of Mimico, when they made that lengthy run, of course. As here's Peyton Cormier. Drops the shoulder and then gets dropped. Huge, gritty defense we're seeing already from this Toronto Beaches squad, and a cross-check, just as I'm praising them for it. The first penalty of the game going back to the Toronto side. So after 3 for Mimico, all killed off, including about 40 seconds or so of a 5-on-3. First penalty of the game going the Beaches' way. It's Mimico leading 2-1. Just over 2 minutes left here in the opening period. As Thompson puts it in the corner. Working back up top for McConvey. Shot there. I think it hit off a defender's stick and landed in the crease. Taken out by the Beaches. Minute 38 as they cross center. And Duncan putting the brakes on. Duncan keeping the ball high here. Had an option in Jackson Raposo. Elects to go to Owen Grant instead. Grant watching the clock. 3 on the shot clock. He'll let Skip shot go in on due just to beat the shot clock and get the defensive change. And now Thomas McConvey and crew will have about 50 seconds here to work the Mimico power play. McConvey, Cormier down in the corner for Haig. McConvey again. Finley Thompson. Cormier's shot over top and down low to make the save was Brown. Now a double team in the corner. It's Cormier and Haig. The ball did pop free out of the stick of, I believe that's Romancic. Could be Owen Cook down, and they get the 8-second violation. Quick restart by Mimico. 19 left in the power play as McConvey here for Thompson had the corner, and it's just over top of the bar. Taken down there is Cook down as he was tied up with Haig. Now a scramble in the corner. The 8 seconds is on, but reset as there was no clean possession, and they do get it up over center. As we go back to even with 6 seconds, now 5 left in the period. Needing a shot, double teaming the ball carrier. Here comes a quick one and a save from Owen Dew. No time for a rebound as it was brought down by Curtis Romancic. And after a whole lot of non-activity in that first little bit, save for a couple Mimico power plays, Mimico penalties rather, we get a flurry of goals in the last 4 minutes and a 2-1 Mimico lead here over the Toronto Beaches. Again, our first of 5 games on this channel and this floor. We'll have Whitby and Peterborough coming up next at 1 p.m. Mimico will return to face Orangeville at 3. Peterborough and the Beaches at 5. And then we'll finish with Orangeville and Whitby at 7 here on this channel and this floor. If you want to continue following our action the rest of the day, there is also JVI Sports Network Channel 2. Search for that, or OJLL. Or if you're coming from the OJLL website, that links to a playlist of all 22 games over the next 2 days, including Six Nations in Burlington, which is on now. Trying to see if I can catch a glimpse of the score. Looks like 3-2 in favor of Burlington right now with about 6 minutes left in the second period there. They started with opening ceremonies, which included the land acknowledgement, some greetings from the commissioner, new commissioner, Mark Grimes. And included all 4 teams, including Mimico and Toronto. So they cleared the floor and they got started. We had a brief warm-up here before we got going, and that's why the discrepancy in the times. No traditional intermissions either. I believe we're only running a 5-minute intermission in between. So Six Nations Burlington, as we said, ongoing at 1 p.m. over on the other channel, other floor. Brampton and Oakville. St. Catharines and Kitchener will follow that at 3. Oakville, Six Nations at 5. Brampton, St. Catharines at 7. And the primetime matchup, the Burlington Chiefs and the Kitchener-Waterloo Braves, set to go at 9 p.m. to cap off day number 1 here of what is the 2021 OJLL season, presented in mini tournament form, I guess. And again, it's normally a marathon, not a sprint, to get through the full season. This is a little bit of both. You've got to have energy in the tank by the end of tomorrow after playing 4 games in 2 days. And you can't really have someone go down. You can't really have a bad game. Definitely can't have a bad day, because you're only getting 8 games for your entire season. And they are split into East and West divisions. So this floor here will feature the teams in the East. And only the top 2 move on to championship weekend, which, if I'm not mistaken, is August 7th and 8th. First in the East, second in the West, and then first in the West, second in the East. Winners of those 2 games will fight for the championship. But a long way to go before we get there. A switch of ends now as the Beaches going right to left. Here in our second period, as they'll get set up for offense. Again, we talked about changes on their bench. It was Glenn Clark last we saw them as coming up over the top. A shot through from Jacobs that may have hit something in front before hitting the mask of Owen Dew. As they bang looking for the loose ball, and it will be picked up by Toronto. Taggart Clark runs a long way over top. Now comes all the way up top for Jacob Hickey. Hickey crashing in the middle as Kiernan spins back. Kiernan near side, and the shot from Clark goes low past the arm of Dew. And illegal interference gives the ball to Zach Deacon. Former Orangeville players scattered throughout this game. As here's Cormier. In behind the net to McCovey, a cutter. And what a play. Cormier in behind the net to Finley Thompson. Finds his man cutting, and now make it 3-1 here in favor of Mimico. Nifty little passing play, and again, I said some familiar names on the side of Mimico. Some of their big named players, top named players, leaving since the last time we saw them and graduating out. But a lot of these guys have played together, if only coming up through the minor system. Showing there on that kind of give and go play. Dew up for Zabo, and a tie up in behind the play, however. Offsetting roughing penalties will be called here against Matthew Sykes of Mimico and Curtis Conley of the Toronto Beaches. Matthew Sykes mixing it up. Who knew? Only a couple minutes gone here in the board says third period. It's definitely the second, however, as we'll play 4-on-4. A lot of room to work here for Cormier, who Ducks out of coverage. McConvey in front of him as they decide to work this real strong left side for Mimico. That one bounces off the boards in front of the Mimico bench. Could have gone for over and back, but they'll leave it, allowing for their defense to get on, counteract that Beach's rush. This is the long defensive change period, short transition period. As this is pushed outside. Haven't seen as much Stone Jacobs, although early on in this period as we did in that first. Doesn't look to be anyone missing from the bench of the Beaches as a shot clock violation. Picked off at the last minute, though, by Zabo. And Joey Zabo high to the far side. Finds Gareth Haig coming off the bench. Looking out of the corner, Lamoche. Low shot, hard off the end boards, right in the stick of Haig, though, as Gareth Haig tries to shed pressure. Haig to the middle, may have had a sidearm shot, but shovels it in the corner for Devin Pfeiffer. That was way late in the shot clock as well. As a 3-on-1 rush developing here for the Beaches, and the ball is down, bouncing over towards the far boards. Finally corralled by Jacob Power, but halfway through the shot clock, though, as the offsetting minor penalties are about to expire. Power looking for a shot. Only 3 seconds to get one. Could have argued a holding call there, but none coming against Mimico, as some extra words and banging after the fact. We are 5-on-5 now, as again those offsetting roughing penalties have expired. Here's Power shooting through a crowd. And that hit off the back, it looked like, of Sam Firth. Has now intercepted and off to the races. Matty Wright. Couple fakes and a goal. Can't miss on a breakaway in a red bucket, as he gives Mimico a 4-1 lead, 10.5 to play here in the second period. Clean interception and transition the other way. And Matt Wright. With the goal here, the first in transition, I believe, for either side. As Haig up for Graham. Off the bench with speed was Lamoche. But taken out of the play there by Curtis Conley. McConvey over to the far side, and again, tight defense, maybe too tight as the ref's arm goes up, and McConvey into the corner. Cormier, the shot, hits off the leg of Brown and goes in on the delayed penalty call. Mimico coming on strong now with a 5-1 lead with 10 to play here in the second. It was late in the shot clock, and I think Cormier is just trying to beat the clock there, as the shot looked like it changed direction on the bounce. And now Mimico with a 5-1 lead. And they intercept again and push in transition. Zabo slams on the brakes. Defense there to catch up, though. As now Cormier. Far side, back for McConvey. Cormier in the corner. Pfeiffer. Devin Pfeiffer looking for A shot in the corner and a huge booming slash gets called here. Send Mimico back to the power play. Slash call against Matty Duncan. OntarioJuniorLacrosse.com is the new website of the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League. You can track all the stats and game action from this and all the games today and this weekend, and of course all 44 of this season. There's a save from Brown. Again, picked out of the crease, which is a new rule change for this year as Beach is pushing transition. Look at the ball movement there before the final shot coming from Jackson Raposo, and a tie up in the crease. A lot of whistles as Conley was down, and a late call, I believe, coming here as Cormier got in after the fact. Peyton Cormier for roughing. And a roughing call on Owen Grant. Is he getting 4 here? Only the minute 32 of the original penalty up on the board for now. They've put... I wonder if Peyton Cormier is getting 4 because there is double deuces up on the board on their side. So now the conversation over at the bench with 8:42 left to play. Looks like it's still 3-2 in favor of Burlington over on the other pad. They've got 15 minutes on their clock. I believe they're starting the third period over in that game, if that's the one you're looking for. I believe it'll be on our main channel if you search for JVI Sports Network, although I had heard there were some streaming issues, which, if that's the case, we'll get it uploaded after the fact. An entire playlist available, linked off of OntarioJuniorLacrosse.com for all games this weekend. Still trying to sort out the clock as they had a pair of 2-minute penalties up for Peyton Cormier. Looks like that's how they're going to leave it, but we are playing 4-on-3. Mimico defender was dropped, and everyone looked to the ref, but nothing there. I said we hadn't seen Stone Jacobs in a while, as he's here trying to rag the ball. And a bouncer off the glass. And yes, the 30-second clock does run when you're ragging the ball, much to the chagrin of some people who appreciated it the way it used to be. And an interesting lacrosse-less pandemic investigation of sorts by Steven Stamp on Isle Indoor. Oh, McConvey was looking to go cross crease off the shoulder of Romancic and in behind Jackson Brown for a short-handed goal for Mimico as they extend the lead now to 6. Power play goal for Mimico as they were up 4-on-3. 40 seconds left in the initial penalty, which I believe is going to come off the board. 1:08 in the offsetting minors. To Grant and Cormier, and then I think Cormier's got an extra 2 on top of that. We're going to play Ring Around the Rosie here for this face-off. About halfway through our second period is a shot from the draw man, Raposo. Save made by Dew, who has been solid in this game. Backup goalie, and I'm assuming we'll see him at 3 o'clock against Orangeville, is Devlin Shanahan. Here's Haig, his sidearm shot off the inside of the post. Devlin Shanahan, of course, the draft pick and netminder of the Buffalo Bandits. Shot there off the leg, and it looked like it got up into the screening for a fresh reset. And 14 seconds left in the offsetting minors. This will turn into a Beaches power play here shortly, but not before McConvey puts it between Duncan and Owen Cook down, and Cook down says that was my bad, and he'll go over and apologize to his netminder as well. But that's going to stretch it to 7-1 Mimico. Getting very close to running away with it here early on, and again, playing 4 games in 2 days at the junior level. I mean, I'm trying to even think if that's Founders Cup level. Seen a couple President's tournaments that were condensed like that, but some of these guys probably haven't done this. Midget maybe, intermediate, if they played either of those. That shot off of Dew and up into the screening. But with the score stretching out, kind of gives an opportunity to run out whoever you want and perhaps save some guys for that later game against Orangeville, or again 2 tomorrow, as Mimico will get 1 o'clock against Whitby, and the nightcap against Peterborough. Here's Haig. Trying the cheeky little backhand shot was Finley Thompson, but didn't have the ball. And Toronto in transition, no look to the crease. They come back other side. Oh boy, 0-2. What a save with the stick, and back transition the other way. A save made by Brown. Dew with the save of the game so far, rivaling perhaps McConvey's goal in that first period for play of the game, where he dove across the crease to score, I believe, the second goal for Mimico. Another loose ball picked up by their defense, though, and up over center. It's going to turn into a 3-on-1, ducking out of the way and taking it himself and scoring is Mike McCannell. And indeed, Mimico do look to be stretching this one out. That coming shorthanded, still 15 seconds left in that Cormier, the back half of the Cormier double minor for roughing. And we're under 5 to go here in the second period. Getting to a point where we might need some goals here for the Beaches, and need them fairly quickly. David Anderson batting that ball back into Beaches territory, where they corral it for possession as we return 5-on-5. Raposo. Ball knocked out of his stick. He'll chase it down far side. It is recovered here by Toronto. Raposo with the box collapsing right around him. Got the shot away, and now the reset as well as the loose ball is picked up and Beaches player knocked down in the crease just as the ball arrived. That's going to be right. And now Graham for Haig off the bench. Thompson working all the way back down into the corner. He was looking for Thompson again, was Liam Lamoche. And a little too far for him and McConvey. So a turnover here with Thomas McConvey stuck back there on defense. I don't think Toronto realized it as the shot comes from the left side. And Dew there to make the save anyways. 3.5 to play in our second period. A 7-goal lead for Mimico. Thompson to Lamoche. Back from McConvey. Cormier will take his time, and pressure arriving quickly from Owen Grant. Open space for Haig. His shot had McConvey at the side of the crease, and the ball was loose in his feet. Couldn't pick it up. McConvey still working over Duncan, though. How did he get that up to Alex Gaston? I don't know, but what a play by the Beaches captain. Late in the shot clock now, however, only 5 seconds. Big collision in the middle, and the shot, that's where it comes from. Still loose. Dew's trying to chase it all through the crease. And eventually picked up by Finley Thompson. Here's Graham. Haig. Gareth Haig back to the far side. No room for Lamoche. Here's Haig ripping a shot, and that's just wide of the cage. Goes up and into the screening. Up top is Bukta for Haig, looking for McConvey. That's off his stick and drops down right in front of Curtis Romancic. Romancic with a man off the bench and just off the head of the stick of Jacob Hickey. Hickey now down there with Matt Wright. And almost called Wright coming out with it, but then a huge hit after the shot. Dew down and makes a second save. First one from Raposo. But man, Owen Dew looks strong here in this game. Big tie up in front of the Mimico bench now as trying to sort out personnel halfway through the shot clock, and only a minute and a half remaining in the period. Lamoche into the corner. That's where Pfeiffer is. Cormier, his shot far, and Pfeiffer just able to keep it onside, but bounced it right in the stick of Alex Gaston. Gaston by himself, and a stick save made by Dew. Notice the other change as well. The goaltenders using the plastic soup spoon style goalie stick. That huge wooden one, I believe, is taken out of the rule book now. And Owen Dew's figured it out in quick time. McConvey off the crossbar in the final minute of this second period. Taken down there, swatted blindly. Trying to clear it was the Beaches defender. Got it right in the stick, though, of Ryan Haig. Haig for McConvey. 10 on the shot clock. Far side, Liam Lamoche looking for space. He'll give back for McConvey here. Out into the middle, still with it, off coverage, spinning and scoring, Curtis Bukta. What a period for Mimico here. Now 6-0 in the frame to lead 9-1. And what a goal from Curtis Bukta. Ate a hard hit and a spin from coverage. As we go back to center for the final 11 seconds here of the second period. Picked up by the Beaches, and they call timeout. Player down, though, is David Anderson, who has words for the official on his way off. Timeout called by the Beaches. They'll take Jackson Brown off the floor, and man, oh man, you want one here in the final 6.7, which is about as long as they would have had for a play anyways. But Mimico taking off here in the second period. As they now lead 9-1 again. Ongoing right now, Burlington and Six Nations. Coming up here on this channel and this pad, Whitby Warriors, Peterborough Lakers at 1 p.m. Scheduled for 3 o'clock. Mimico will return as they take on Orangeville. The Beaches will return at 5, taking on the Peterborough Lakers. And then finally tonight at 7 p.m., Orangeville Northmen and Whitby Warriors. I believe Whitby's only playing the one time today. I thought everyone had 2, but that looks to be the case, as we're going to get a tie-up and a scrum here at the horn. Looked like a glove flew there from McCannell, as he was trying to get a piece of David Anderson, and someone's got a either offsetting roughing or delay of game. We're not sure, but we will head into intermission with Mimico all over Toronto here, 9-1 after 2 periods. third period coming up here at the Toronto Rock Athletic Center in Oakville, Ontario, the site of the entire OJLL season, Ontario Junior Lacrosse League season. In our first game here on the red turf, yes, red turf, formerly the concrete pad for those of you who have been here in the building. And Mimico controls possession and most of this game as well. 9-1 through 2 periods. As they get the first possession, Jackson Brown and Owen Dew remaining in the net for their respective teams. Again, as we were expected they would, with both of them playing later and trying the dunk shot. Again, one of those rule changes was Gareth Haig. Trying to see if there were penalties. Only one, it looks like, on the Beaches side of the ledger. As Beaches coaching staff getting a explanation. Again, changes on their bench in Riley O'Connor, Damon Edwards, Luke Magnan. I believe those are different since the last time we saw them. A lot of changes for that organization as they look to be on the move up, except for, of course, the legendary Johnny Zamboni, John Gutenberg. Still working the doors. The staple of Ted Reeve Arena. Over and back violation here. Beaches will pick up with 20 seconds left in their penalty. Trying to work around the crease, trying for maybe an own goal. An odd angle. Nearly snuck through Dew, but he does get the arm on it. And now Matt Wright will jog it up. Power play about to expire, and we're back to 5-on-5 with 2 minutes gone here in the third. Again, 15-minute penalties if you're just joining us. Oh, that's a pretty big offense if you've offense, rather, if you're getting 15 minutes penalties. 15-minute period, pardon me. Been 2 years for me as well. Mike McKay on the bench, not Damon Edwards, says it was listed in our program. Thank you to whoever that was on Twitter. As double slashing penalties coming here against Mimico. The first one pulled the goalie out. The second one stops the play with 12:28 to go. And they're I was going to say both to Hudson Thompson, but it looks like Zach Deacon will join him. Well, if ever there was a time, I think now would be it for the Toronto Beaches, as they're up 5-on-3 for a full 2 minutes here. Stone Jacobs, who we saw a lot of in that first period, not so much in the second. And a bit of a weak shot from Brady Kiernan. In on Dew, who makes the save. Pressure on the ball here. Matthew Sykes will absorb it on the near side. Now draw a double team as he gets deep now in territory. And Sykes taken hard into the boards. And there's a penalty coming here. Tough to see down there, but trainer in the doorway and not needed as Matthew Sykes gets up and jogs off. The other NLL committed player for this Mimico Mountaineers team of the San Diego Seals. And you can see him hunching over. And that will be a penalty on the board. I think it's Owen Grant that goes in for 2 minutes. Possibly interference or cross-checking. I missed. Well, they're still looking at the board, so I wonder if it wasn't a 2. As Ryan Haig waits. Now 4 as they still wait. So did we get a major here? back down to 2. As we can now update you, closing time in behind us here, 7-4. It looks like Burlington over top of Six Nations. Six Nations Arrows Express, I've been told, as they return to their roots. To the Six Nations Arrows over on the court behind us. The blue pad, if you're making your way. Here to the Toronto Rock Athletic Center. No general admission ticketing. Players are allowed family tickets, and there are some scouts and league personnel from different leagues. I've seen a couple different league and team representatives up where we are. But by invitation only, unfortunately. So if you're looking for the rest of the games this weekend or the 2 following, you'll have to tune into JVI Sports Network or OntarioJuniorLacrosse.com. And they still try and sort out the board with now 4 minor penalties up. I don't think it's that many on the side of the Beaches. So again, we talked about only 8 games on the schedule. You can't have a game off. You can't take a day off. So if this holds out now, Beaches against Peterborough. We'll see Peterborough coming up in our next game against Whitby. I mentioned earlier Whitby played only once. They do play in our 1 o'clock game against Peterborough before coming back to face Orangeville this evening. And then you kind of almost look ahead for the Beaches tomorrow as they face Whitby and Orangeville. So uphill climb if you drop one early. Although still 12 minutes to go here in the third. It was indeed a 5-minute penalty on the board. Still 2 players in the box for Mimico, though, so 4-on-3 in favor of the Beaches, allowing them to double-team the ball here. Lamoche was all kinds of tied up before he fell, allowing Matt Duncan to pick up. Duncan now turns on the Jets and slams hard on the brakes. Sensed an opportunity, but not there. As they now work far side. Hickey and Anderson. Help arriving off the bench. Anderson now, a shot. Sam Firth saved by 2. Loose ball picked up by McCannell. McCannell over into the quarter. Pushed hard out wide. McCannell still by himself. Still with it. Flips it back towards center. And McConvey there to keep it on the correct side of half. McConvey. Faking the shot as it now goes through. Hard outside shot and another save. We did want to give shout outs to the 2 watch parties. All the Mimico fans at Dakota Sports Bar and Grill, and then the Beaches faithful at Buster's by the Bluffs. Hello to all of you watching at those 2 establishments. I imagine one of you a bit more excited than the other at this point in the game as Mimico leads 9-1. Nothing in terms of offense so far here in the third period. The 5 minutes and a bit that we've passed already. This is a power play for Mimico on that 5-minute major, but a hard shot arriving on scene. Sam Firth, the first goal since about the 9-minute mark of the first period for the Beaches. That makes it 9-2. Still 2.5 minutes of power play time for the visiting side. That bench occupied by Mimico here in this game. Face-off drawn through the legs of Haig. Wright couldn't pick it up cleanly, and loose ball fought for. And man, Wright went awkwardly into the boards and somehow got back up in time to chase down Jackson Raposo. There's a horn on the other side. I keep checking to see if they've gone final yet. I think they're close. That's 7-4 in favor of Burlington. Here's a shot that bounces off the end glass late in the shot clock, and down awkwardly and was Liam Ferris, but he does get back up. Zabo over for Finley Thompson. He'll go down low in the corner for Pfeiffer. And now McConvey, the late arrival. Shot from Cormier, picks a corner. And just like that, the lead restored as it comes on the power play. A major power play, however, so penalized player still in the box for a minute 28. And Mimico with another chance here. With 8:27 to go in our third period. Well, it says 3 on the board. I believe they could be just starting the third period. 8-5 for Burlington in behind me. So if we're finished here first and you want to switch over to that game, again, it's on the JVI Sports Network channel. And I might get an update. There were some streaming issues over there. If they have been rectified, I'm not sure. And the Beaches control possession here on the red turf. They're calling it, formerly the concrete slab, at the Toronto Rock Athletic Center. Here in Oakville, Ontario, junior lacrosse for aged 16 to 21. 16 or 17 usually. These players are normally the upper end of that scale, but it can be all kinds this year with no junior B or C lacrosse and a too many men call. As Mimico touches the ball, this might be their penalty to even things up floor strength-wise with 35 seconds left. Ball floated towards the net there for Firth. As again, we play 4-on-4 for the next 20 seconds. Major penalty will expire, and then Finley Thompson in the box serving that substitution penalty for about a minute and 20 seconds or so. McConvey back for Cormier. He has Pfeiffer and Lamoche with him and trying to go sky high again was Cormier this time, and bit of a gathering in the crease, but nothing more except for a few whistles. As Duncan gave it to Stone Jacobs, fake to Cam Accioni. Now Kiernan. Accioni the shot, that's Taggart Clark on the far side. Better credit it right because it's in behind Dew. Taggart Clark stepping into a hard shot, and a power play marker for the Beaches that had their opportunities in that first period, but it's been an uphill climb ever since the start of the second. For Toronto Beaches, 6.5 left to go as they trail now by 7, 10-3. Haig and Anderson renewing acquaintances at the dot as it pops free to Curtis Conley, though. Conley, high, Jacobs off the bench looking for help. Jacobs looked for Power and it was too far. So Jacob Power, far side, stumbling is Accioni and then gets swarmed as Matthew Sykes is there. Back near side for Hickey, low in the shot clock, just releases one. It did beat it, but Dew makes the save and corrals the rebound. Deacon having words with Jacob Power, and then stepping in was Taggart Clark as Joel Furman's arm is high and Owen Dew's on the bench. I saw Dew take off and I was trying to figure out if it was a penalty or just a play they're working on here as McConvey gets through traffic and Brown will make the save. And an illegal cross check has been picked up. Stone Jacobs. Thank you, Joel Furman. 5.5 minutes remaining here, and Mimico will get another chance on the power play. And the writing may have been on the wall for a while, but a goal here, I think, would put it in the books. McConvey, Cormier, and Haig. They work it back around the horn. Only one who hasn't touched it yet is Lamoche on the far side. Doesn't need to, is Cormier. That looked like it may have gone in. The official was right there. And no argument from that Mimico bench. Part of that could be the score, but they play on. Raposo. And Anderson. Raposo spinning, hauled down, and he's going to draw a penalty with 3 Mimico defenders all over him. He gets the high stick with 1:17 left in the first one. That'll bring us back to 4-on-4. A high stick called against not Jacob Power, Bryce Cordingley. And when Troy came over as the assistant coach, the trade for Bryce soon followed. Here's Kernan. Brady Kiernan, far side, a shot there from Taggart Clark. Trying again, and Dew got run into and had a bit of a stare down there. Trying to catch the number, it's Taggart Clark. He's fired up here in the closing minutes of this third period. Fired up and wants attention from the training staff as well. On the run, here's a shot. Maybe that's why he had those words for Taggart Clark. Keep our eye on him as Curtis Romanchich. Oh, what a nice pickup. It was high and behind. Owen Grant picked it up and shot. Is now another conversation. Off to the side of Owen Dew, and an 8-second violation against Mimico. 20 seconds remaining in their penalty. The one to Stone Jacobs, which will put the Beaches back of the power play in about 10 seconds. They want the shot now. It comes from Kiernan in the feet of Dew, who makes the save. And now picked up and out. Matthew Sykes. Hidden ball play with Ryan Haig. He's got it, though, and Sykes is headed to the bench. Pass floated in there from Bukta. Nowhere near the net as Bukta will now posture up, and a hard hit on Alex Gaston. Ball is free. Over top of it was Young, as was David Paturkin. Far side there, Taggart Clark had the ball ripped out of his stick. Good to see him back. And I don't actually think that's him because the player is still being attended to over on the bench. It's either, I'm sure I saw an 8. So it's either Sam Firth or Jeremy Phoenix Lefebvre. And I doubt we'll see them again as a big pile up and a scrum takedown as McConvey was swarmed and tackled to the left side of Jackson Brown. Really no other word for that. And a penalty coming here. Peyton Cormier already in the box. Owen Grant going with him. And 2.5 left to play in what is a 10-3 game in favor of the Mimico Mountaineers. A game that was all Mimico in the second period, pretty tight in the first. Tight here in the second as well. So Beach is looking to get their feet under them, running uphill as they head into the late game. Again, they'll face Peterborough Lakers at 5. Mimico will be back on the floor against Orangeville at 3 p.m. Kiernan, open shot for Stone Jacobs. That hit off a defenseman. Ball down here, picked up, not cleanly though, from Zabo, and it's back into the stick of the Beaches. Shot clock is stuck. The count's down on the floor. And not picked up here by Matthew Sykes. The one behind Jackson Brown is off. The one behind Owen Dew is flashing. So the count is on the floor. Matthew Sykes has no intention of taking this anywhere near the cage. And as I say that, he passes down. Oh, and another one from Butka. Second pretty goal of the game. The last one he had to take some punishment to get the goal. But when it looked like Matthew Sykes was just going to kill time, passes in the corner to Buckta. Some nice footwork and the stick work finish. 11-3 Mimico here over top of Toronto. They switch up with Mike McCannell at the faceoff dot here. And it is Sam Firth, the player that was getting attention as he stood up now. Still being looked at by the trainer, so player that the Beaches were counting on, who has not returned to this game since that big collision. We already talked about the fact that with the condensed schedule, can't really afford any of that. As this shot high off the end boards, straight to the man on the crease though is Jacob Power. Collided. Here's Taggart Clark, a shot. And Dew there to make the save. 35 seconds in the flurry of penalties we had there. Cormier and McConvey for Mimico as Liam Ferris brings it in. And Owen Grant for the Beaches. What a move by Liam Lamoche to get through his man. And will now just throw it blindly back into the corner as I'm sure they were late in the shot clock, which are still not working here in-house. 35 seconds left as Mimico will get their first win here in the East Division. Bouncing shot, misses everything before going up into the cage. And I'm sure it's clear center, and dribble it out, as the case would be, with superfan Navbatia in the house. Handshakes are started for the Mimico Mountaineers, who defeat the Toronto Beaches 11-3 here in the opening match of the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League season. Again, still going on. It looks like there's 8.5 minutes left. 8-6. Burlington on top of Six Nations Arrows right now, if you want to switch over and are able to. Otherwise, we'll be back here for our next game coming up, which is at 1 o'clock. Whitby Warriors and Peterborough Lakers. Mimico returns to face Orangeville at 3, and the Beaches will face Peterborough at 5. Our producer for this game has been Gary Morrison. Director Ryan Harkness on behalf of them and our JVI Sports Network crew and the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League. I'm Matthew Carrick. We'll say goodbye from the Toronto Rock Athletic Center, and we'll talk to you again in about half an hour's time at 1 o'clock for game number 2.